Hello class, and welcome to this Vice Project Doom walkthrough right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with Brigands. I'm your instructor, Professor Brigands, and Vice Project Doom, it's also known as Gun Deck in Japan, but it's also known as stereotypically cheesy late 80s police action movie game around the Video Games 101 offices. I mean, seriously, if you're not sure what you're getting into, just take a look at this cover. I'm awfully tempted to do a let's meme it right now with the TAs on this cover, but let's at least identify every trope we can spot here. First, they've shamelessly got a Bruce Willis lookalike with more hair. Die Hard had just come out a couple years earlier. He's wearing his tattered shirt to show that he's been through some stuff, clearly brandishing a prominent gun. He's got the terrified and useless female clinging to his muscles, wearing a sexy outfit covering her clearly defined body, let's say. Got caution tape at the top, whatever that vaguely reflective pattern is on the vise, electricity bolts and sparks / maybe blood everywhere, I don't know. Almost looks like a laser in the middle, steel-looking beams in the bottom left corner, and a layer of smoke at the bottom for good measure. But seriously, what is going on in this room? I think the answer is just everything. Everything's going on in here. If I ever found myself in whatever situation this is, I would just curl up in a ball and die. Maybe flirt with the lady for a couple seconds. Difficult as that might prove to be from the ball, but I digress. Let's get back on topic. By the way, give me your best one-line meme description for this cover in the comments, class. But yeah, getting back on track here. If you've played Ninja Gaiden, then you'll know how much of it they've ripped off to make this game. From the cutscenes, the basic attacks, the bosses, transitions, the music, and more, but all without the good story or ability to stick to walls. Just swap out Bob Hope for Ryu and add dozens of over-the-top Hollywood tropes and cheesy dialogue, and you've got Vice Project Doom. At least they also ripped off Spy Hunter's driving stages and Bayou Billy's shooting stages, just to keep it fair, but it's not a bad title, though. It's a middling challenging game. Some of the later stages throw that kind of annoying Ninja Gaiden platforming at you, but with unlimited continues in mind. And the first half of this game being pretty easy, I'm going to go ahead and give Vice Project Doom a 5 out of 10. On the frustration scale, this equates to throwing your controller across the room, but you'll have no need for that today. We'll cover everything you need to know to beat this game and give you some interesting facts about this game on top of it. So let's run the intro and get into this Vice Project Doom walkthrough right here on Video Games 101. Let's hit start to begin a new game here in this Vice Project Doom walkthrough as we meet our character Hart. Our first assignment, take down a maniac who's running loose on Route 246. If you want to make a drinking game out of this game, not that we condone it, but every time you get a cheesy, cliched line, it's showtime. Another nutcase loose in the city, just when I need it. A line that would feel right at home in a stereotypical, cheesy, over-the-top 80s police movie. There you go, but as we take a look at the controls for Vice Project Doom, as mentioned in opening, this game takes place over a number of different styles of gameplay. Nothing too crazy though with the controls. We can shift up with A, but I recommend keeping it in first gear just to make this first stage a little easier, give you more time to shoot everything in front of you. There is a timer at the bottom, but practically speaking, it's not an issue. You have plenty of time in this game. Yes, keep firing. A lot of us don't know this because most of our cars don't feature turrets in the front or anywhere, but there's meat in almost everything on the road. And that brings us to our Briggs notes. First, use the right weapon for each situation. We'll talk about that when we get into the side-scrolling platforming element of the game. Kill most enemies to get plenty of health. We'll talk about that. And use Gary's boss beaters to take down the bosses. Speaking of which, here he is now.
It's Scary Gary's boss beaters.
Right, the first boss in Vice Project Doom, the car. It's pretty hard to lose to this one. Basically just stay behind them at the bottom of the screen, keep firing, avoid as many shots as possible, but not too difficult.
Good luck, Gary. Thank you very much. Kind of a Mel Gibson vibe right there. lethal weapon, maybe. Kind of looks more like Bruce Campbell right here. I'll try to refrain from making every comparison which comes to mind, but yeah, there's a lot of influences and they're on full display. Yeah, I'm no scientist, but that ain't right, whatever that claw was. I'd say the claw gave me more of the creeps than the gun, but I don't know where Christie came from. Was she riding shotgun? Kind of got an Ali Sheedy, Melanie Griffith meets Pixie vibe going on there. This shot is straight out of Ninja Gaiden when Irene appears behind him. And here it's just your guardian angel, and in that Ryu's, oh, just a girl, kind of dismisses her. I do like that they put the title right there. That is kind of a nice, gives it that cinematic feel, like we had the prologue, set us up with a little action, and then you get the title. And as soon as I give this game one compliment, they send in the dancing graduation cap and gown enemies. I'm not sure what the heck that's about. But there you go. Mind the little platforms that drop out beneath you. You can see the cracks in the beams to indicate that they're gonna fall. This whole section is full of them, so we have to just keep moving. Don't really worry about the enemies so much, just avoid them. Like so. We can use the cracks here to ride this down for a little shortcut. Take the high road here. Again, not sure what those... They're very excited that they just graduated. And then we end their life immediately. Yeah, there's a whole, there's a lot of... There's a nice mix. You got punk rockers crawling on the ground. Via that second Briggs note, kill most of the enemies to collect health replenishing meat. We'll bring in Blaze in just a second to talk about the items of this game, but now, second boss fight, Gary.
Boss beaters.
Alright, second boss, kind of this werewolf looking guy throwing beams at you. Just stay around the middle of the screen so that when he jumps, you don't get hit, you're not on the side. Jump over the beams and just toss those grenades. You'll take him down before too long.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, a lot of the platforming isn't too rough in the first half of this, so if you're coming into these bosses for the first time, don't exactly know the pattern, the rhythm to get into the moveset. So that's why those boss beaters are especially clutch for making the first half of this game very easy. Yeah, I love that they try anything they can to make this game unique. They're like, let's add in a second female character. How about that? Not a lot of games have a second female character. Got Sophia, kind of an Ione Sky looking face right there as we're deep in thought, contemplating black magic. That's the opposite of white magic. By the way, check out our walkthrough of Final Fantasy I. Just thinking of the black and white mages and the red mage, of course, but anyway, while we have a pretty straightforward platforming stage, let's go to Blaze for an overview of the items of this game.
Alright, let's talk about the basic items you'll find in Vice Project Doom. Coins are in every single level, driving, shooting, the side-scrolling stages. 100 of these will add a 1-up to your total. Then for health regeneration, we have the bottle, which is worth 2 units of health. Even more, 5 times more, in fact, is the nondescript meat for 10 units of health. Then we have the B and the G for 10 bullets and 5 grenades, respectively.
Good look, Blaze. Thank you very much. Yeah, this feels very much like Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, these little sparks going back and forth, or something out of Mega Man. If you're thinking, hey, this scene, this mechanic, this enemy, this insert whatever you want, insert noun, from Vice Project Doom reminds me of X. Yes, that you were right. They stole it. Again, not sure what the deal with the punks is. Looking for their contact lenses on the ground, or maybe there's something more adult going on here, but next boss.
Boss beaters.
Alright, there's a little pattern you need to get into to take down this boss. He's tricky otherwise. Basically, do the strategy as we show here. You want to move to the far pedestal away from him, kind of loop through those attacks he launches at you, and then when you get to the other side, just throw a grenade, get ready for him to charge. When he charges, get ready to make that jump, and yeah, just repeat that process like we show. You'll take him down with that rhythm.
Good call. Thank you very much, Gary. Yeah, once you have that knowledge right there, this strategy, this is so much easier. Get through this one without taking a single hit. Boss beaters for this one are especially good, if I can give Gary a compliment today. Always like to give Gary a compliment, but I think he really brought it with this one. A lot of the bosses, with the strategies that he's got in this game, won't even touch you if you follow the strategy to a T. See, those grenades are very clutch. You shouldn't ever really be out of any of the weapons that you need for any of these bosses. It's pretty much almost always the grenades. Every now and then it'll be your melee attack. But yeah, for the most part, even if you're using them conservatively, let's say, in some of the levels, you'll still have plenty. We'll be collecting quite a few more as we go on in the game. Yeah, all of these camera shots, everything, just very much these perspectives, very Ninja Gaiden. But that's fine, you know, if you're gonna rip off a game, going to South Central America, that's south of here. Always deep, and they get a lot of mileage out of that one particular shot. I like the pink hair. It's good luck for Christy. Ricardo. Here we go. Another classic line. You know, it's a little early in the season. I guess my vacation's going to be spent in Ricardo. Excellent writing. Just a chef's kiss all around, but as we're about to go into the first shooting stage, let's bring in Blaze for an overview on the weapons now of this game. Blaze?
All right, let's talk about the 3 weapons you have from the start of Vice Project Doom. First, the laser whip. This is a close-range weapon. You can attack very quickly with this thing, but your target needs to be right in front of you. For a farther away target, you have the 44 Magnum. Gotta collect bullets for this, but it goes out in a straight line of a few feet, not across the entire screen, but yeah, go for the Magnum when your target is a little bit farther away. And then finally, the hand grenade. Very useful for some bosses, as Gary's going to cover. This arcs, goes about half the screen across, and once again, you need to pick up hand grenades, replenish this. It's a finite number, but there you go, the 3 weapons of Vice Project Doom.
Thank you, Blaze. Speaking of the weapons here, we're using B for our gun shots, and then if you want to use the grenades, you can hit A. Don't want to, it's not an ABF situation, don't always be firing here, just prioritize when you see an enemy. And when you get a couple kind of in range with one another, that's when you can switch to that grenade. Sometimes you can pick up 2 if they're close enough. They're pretty generous though in terms of the replenishing items, health, ammo for the gun, and your grenades as well. As long as you're not too crazy, you should get through it just fine. Good old backstory for Hart here. Alright, that's about all you get. He used to be a mercenary. But anyway. Make sure you jump over every time you see a waterfall in the foreground. Generally a gap behind them, so just make sure you're roughly at the edge of that jump and you'll be just fine. They don't give you too many crazy jumps. There's some very narrow platforming coming up. Very Ninja Gaiden-esque narrow platforming. With the birds trying to knock you off, I see we have the birds here, but they're not nearly as bad in this game as they are in Ninja Gaiden. Don't do nearly as much damage as well. In that game, they were taking 4 health away a pop every time they'd hit you. Yeah, if you just take your time, make sure you clear the screen of enemies before you make some of these jumps, you'll generally be fine. Didn't even clock how the health meter at the bottom is exactly the same as it is in Ninja Gaiden. And they have the enemy one waiting for you there as well. So here, don't get too aggressive. When you need to take a beat on the left or right hand side with one of these ledges, go ahead and do so. Yeah, know your limitations of what your jump is capable of. They don't always make these transitions possible, but they give you plenty of logs to work with. Let's just wait for the right opportunities. There we go. Gotta have your forest stage. This is where it starts to get annoying. 5-2. Midway through the game at this point, thereabouts. See, the screen it's starting to get busy. But they're still generally pretty generous with the health. Just don't get overwhelmed on the screen with the ones that you can actually kill. Note that the vines grow back in very quickly. Not sure what they're using there. You can gap some of these projectiles these fish spit out here. You can't destroy them. That was a bad-timed bird right there. A little bit of that, but again, it's not nearly as aggressive as it is in Ninja Gaiden. Make sure you're as clear as possible here, and you have as much of a head start when you start cutting through the vines right there so they don't grow back right on top of you. Oftentimes there's a meet right at the end with the last guy. There you go. Alright, next boss. Gary? Who have we got?
Boss beater.
Alright, the tank. Pretty easy, actually. Stay crouched as you're moving around. Jump up and get those swings in with your laser whip. Every now and then, just if you duck, you'll avoid those shots from the cannon. Watch out for those missiles above you, but for the most part, as long as you're not greedy, you probably won't even get hit in this boss battle. But yeah, take him down. Good luck.
Another battle where you probably won't even get hit once. If you know what you're doing, that's one of the easier ones, relatively speaking. Just line after line. I mean, kids didn't know any better. We thought it was cool in 1990, 91, about when this came out. It's only when you're a little bit older that you have some more perspective and you can see what they were doing with all of these decisions, but that's fine. This area isn't too bad. I do kind of like the mechanic here of the ladders moving up and down with the turbines. So you gotta make some narrow jumps to not get sucked into the turbines at the top or bottom. A lot of guys just popping out here now. They're really leaning into that as a way of enhancing the difficulty. I think the biggest difference, though, which keeps this from being as difficult as Ninja Gaiden, is the fact that it's a nice little stretch here. Again, we're going to get as low down as possible. Give ourselves some head clearance. But yeah, just most of the enemies don't do nearly as much damage. Like I mentioned, the birds in that earlier section with Ninja Gaiden taking away 4 hit points. At most, I think enemies in this game are taking away 2, generally speaking, so much more manageable in that sense. And sticking with the gun for this stretch, but you can see we're still doing very well in terms of our ammo, our grenades in particular. 35. Plenty of bullets. There's a little sweet spot there for avoiding all their little daggers. I also appreciate that you can duck while running in this game. Not a lot of games let you do that. Got one last tiny screen here. Get some grenades and bullets from these guys. Yeah, the more you have, the more empowered you'll feel to use them liberally in combat. But got the next boss here. Let's go back to Gary.
Boss beaters.
Alright, being aggressive is key with this boss. You want to get close, crouch, and whip as fast as possible. This will both hit the boss and clear out those projectiles as he does that swing above his head. Just stay with him as he moves left to right, right to left. Get in that same position, keep whipping, take him down.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, you can throw grenades from afar if you want to try prioritizing dodging those bullets, but that's the strategy we recommend right there. Oh, boss knows our name. Oh, it's someone named Reese. They're making it personal. Classic Hollywood storytelling here. Well done. We'll get some information on the developer from Fluff here in just a moment, but guess they... Green slime? I guess Reese got a little too close to something. It's a conspower. Man, with your face, you could not be less useful here, Reese. And he's dead. Yes, using someone close to us to mind control them and have them attack us. Where have we seen that convention before? I'm sorry, I'm in one of those moods. But yes, obviously Ninja Gaiden again with our father. That hit a little closer to home. That's a nice effect, though. The guy dropping down below the camera line right there. Oop, save her, though. Speaking of tropes, before it's too late, well, maybe we'll hold off on putting you-know-what up. I mean, the man's dying. He's not the most reliable. Ooh, Sammy. Speaking of Sammy, that's a nod to the publisher of this game. So while we go through this next relatively straightforward platforming stage, use your gun for a lot of stretches of this. Let's throw it to Fluff.
We've done a lot of classes here on Video Games 101 to this point, but we haven't had many games which involve Vice Project Doom's publisher, Sammy Corporation. Sammy was initially founded in the mid-70s as a subsidiary of the Satomi Corporation and created slot machines and arcade cabinets in Japan. In the late 80s and early 90s, Sammy began to enter the video game market, forming an American subsidiary in California to publish games from other developers. Some of these early titles included a handful of relatively obscure titles outside of Vice Project Doom, like Magic Candle and the obviously Ninja Gaiden-influenced Ninja Crusaders for the NES, along with a few other titles for the SNES and Game Boy. While maintaining a presence in the arcade with their pachinko games, they turned their attention to Sega in the mid-90s, publishing an increasing number of titles for the Sega Saturn until they ended up merging with Sega to form Sega Sammy Holdings in 2004.
Good look, Fluff. Interesting information on the publisher. American Sammy / Sammy. Well, American Sammy in this case, but there you go. I gotta say, the right side of this train looks a lot different than the left side of the train. Just love it when you're on a train and then you go to the right and it's just a completely different biome altogether. Sure, we got off the train and now we're in the sewers. That's fair. I got you. Again, just in one of those moods. This game brings it out in me. I can't help it. Yeah, that mechanic here, obviously, of the water, the sewer water, moving you in the direction of the current there, so be careful. Thankfully, it doesn't stunt your jumps like Mega Man. If you have plenty of bullets and grenades at this stage in the game, like you should, then I didn't mean for that to sound judgmental, class, but yeah, you'll probably have a lot of grenades and bullets at this stage in the game, so use them as necessary, and let's go back to Gary.
Boss beater.
Alright, the boss of 7-3, the strategy is to stay in the bottom left-hand corner, not all the way so that he hits you when he comes down, but just in that sweet spot like we show right here. Make sure you don't fall off to the right off that ledge as the water moves you down there, but if you stay low, keep whipping when he gets over, toss the occasional grenade to the right when he moves back over there if you want. Get in the loop of those projectiles he fires at you, but other than that, stay low underneath that shot he fires. Not too difficult if you stick to that pattern.
Thank you, Gary. Another excellent strategy. No damage taken if you do it right. And yeah, it's great that we have that ability to duck and run at the same time. Where's the girl? All right, should we just put it up now? Here you go. Add Vice Project Doom to the Rescue the Princess trope list. You can see, obviously, a lot of games use that. We don't want to just exclusively pour down on Vice Project Doom. No, it is fun to do. It's fun to play too. By the way, that shot was very much looking down on Bloody Mouth at the end of after that battle in Ninja Gaiden. Don't have to point these things out, and yet, well, here we are. I gotta hit these guys in their heads, whatever they are, the slash spider slash... that's probably fine. Yeah, we're maxed out on bullets at this point. Problem with the bullets is that, yeah, it's just a very narrow window that you have to work with. Grab that meat there at the end of this stretch of this stage. You get a lot more range, and you get the luxury of being able to hit things above you with your sword, or your laser whip, whatever they want to call it. Probably in the offices of the developer, thinking like, well, Ryu had a sword in Ninja Gaiden. That's a bit too on the nose. 90% of the rest of this game is Ninja Gaiden, so let's give him a laser whip that looks like a sword. Okay. Okay. And now they changed the color scheme here. With the electricity. Kind of looks like the spore wishy type things from the end, the final stage of Contra, but yeah, they move back and forth like something from a Mega Man game or some Capcom game. Rescue Rangers or Mega Man. Two excellent platformers as well. Well, one is a series, but yeah, they use that quite a bit. And we're getting smacked around a lot, obviously, but again, there's going to be some meat coming up right there. They always, not always, but typically end these stretches with some restorative. They're not cruel at American, well, that was the publisher. Maybe we should bring in Fluff to learn some more about the developer after this. Gary?
Boss beaters.
Alright, stay crouched and stay just off center of the guy's head. You'll find that little sweet spot where he can't hit you with his projectiles, and you can get lots of hits in on him. You'll take him down like we show very quickly.
You also don't need a lot of health when you have Gary. Thank you very much, Gary. Choice strategy as always. Have we found, is it Christy? There's Sophia. Oh, just again. Just a girl. I was giving this game credit earlier. I've had warmer receptions from an icebox. Good lord, what are you, some stand-up comic from 1930 or something? What is that? I don't know why I expected anything more, but yeah, so Chrissy's been abducted again. We already showed the trope. Added this to the trope list. Biotech. B something or other. Biotech. He responds and processes things like that guy from Team America. Cairo. That's in Egypt. Anyway. Yeah, let's bring in Fluff now as we grenade our way through this stretch for some information not on the publisher, but the developer here on Vice Project Doom.
Vice Project Doom's developer was Aicom, a Japanese developer founded in 1988 by former members of the publisher on Vice, the Sammy Corporation. Aicom maintained close ties with Sammy until it bought them in 1992. They developed a handful of NES titles aside from Vice, including the Moffat Conspiracy and Totally Rad, as well as a game which was mostly sold on the Blaster Master name rather than being directly tied to that game in Blaster Master Jr. for the Game Boy. Aicom also made Polestar for the SNK-made Neo Geo, and in 1996, with funding from SNK, broke off from Sammy and reformed as Yumi Kobo, largely producing games for SNK's Neo Geo and Neo Geo Pocket Color. We talked more about SNK in our class on the SNK title Crystallis for the NES, which is in the Video Games 101 playlist, in the description by the way. But when SNK filed for bankruptcy in the early 2000s, Yumi Kobo was dissolved, though some of its team went on to work at the subsequently formed SNK Playmore Corporation.
There you go. I remember when we did our SNK, I guess it was Crystallis, like you mentioned, but the Playmore, I remember thinking the Seinfeld reference. Maybe that was Play Now, but this gives out right here. But as he said, I don't think we've done a whole lot on Aicom or anything on Aicom to this point. These regrow just as fast as the ones found in South America. Maybe we're still in South America, I don't know, I haven't been paying that close attention. Almost have 100 coins, for what that's worth. Still working on our first life here. Yeah, I'll generally just stick to grenades at this stage in the game whenever possible. Larger blast radius, well, a blast radius. Don't really get that with the gun's bullets. They're throwing a lot at us here. Just crouch down, throw that grenade, get through this stretch, and Gary?
Boss beaters.
Alright, the sweet spot for this boss is right in the middle like we show. You're gonna use those grenades again, and you jump and throw one at the very top of your jump. You can usually take out those little spawns that he throws out at you, as on top of hitting him at the same time. So very efficient if you stick to that strategy. You should be able to take him down with no problem. If one of those spawn do get off, quickly switch to the whip, take him down, but otherwise stick to those grenades. They'll take him down.
Good look, Gary. Again, those transitions. Oh, it's Christy. How about that? Yeah, it's kind of like when the clown turns back into our father. Alright, so we're down a Melanie Griffith / maybe Ali Sheedy, Pixie Ali Sheedy, but we still got Ione Sky. I'm instructed to love you? So very tired. The international I'm dying, you just kind of sink into the ground. Beta. Final clue. Christy left us there. What do we know about the Beta Corporation, the world's largest conglomerate? And I'm told Beta has some sort of meaning. Fluff, what do you know about it?
For what it's worth, Professor, Beta in Russian means trouble or doom.
I see. And looks like they went ahead and cloned us. He looks just like me. Sharp as always. Let's get back in our car. Something we understand. Yeah, stand by us in spirit as we have one final driving stage. They didn't go overboard on the driving stages, just like the shooting stages. It's really just a lot of action shooting platforming with just a little bit of these other modes sprinkled in. Let's see, we have it in second gear here, trying to speed it up just a little bit. The decisions you make in the stretch don't really matter. In case you haven't figured out, just keep shooting. This is the one exception where you should always be shooting. We got our 100 coins at some point, but yeah, we should get some restoratives and all sorts of good things if you just keep firing. Should be in relatively good health for when you get to the end of the stretch for the next boss. And speaking of the next boss, let's go back to Gary.
Boss beaters.
When you're attacking, you want to stay at the bottom of the screen for the most part. Just keep shooting in that head, avoid his projectiles, and for the most part, prioritize keeping your distance and staying safe over landing shots. Eventually you'll outlast him, get enough shots in, and take him down.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, you saw they, again, just like the platforming stages of the game, they were generous, giving us some meat right before we went and started throwing down with centipede, snake, dealy, scorpion thingy, whatever you want to call it. I don't blame Gary for just sticking to the numbers on these boss names. We usually consult the instruction manual. Just peel back the curtain here on Video Games 101 a little bit. And obviously learn a lot about these games to a point from the instruction manual, but certainly practical things like the names of bosses and things like that in some cases. But got a nice shot of Beta Corporation's tower or something like that. One last throwaway cliche. And now there's probably going to be more, but perfect end to a lousy day. As Bob Hope knows, just continues to grow. We're now taking on tiptoeing Power Rangers or whatever these guys are, but plenty of bullets to work with at this point. You should get through this with relatively full health, especially at the clip which they're dropping stuff. Since this stage is pretty straightforward, let's go back to Fluff for one more Fluff fact about Vice Project Doom. Fluff?
There's a state select feature in Vice Project Doom, but you'll need a second controller to access it. Plug in both controllers, and while you reset the game, hold A on controller 1. When the game resets, press A or B on controller 2 to bring up a sound test screen. Select the level you want, 1 through 11, to skip ahead to that cutscene and stage, with 11 being the end credits. Also note that after you've jumped to the stage that you want, you can apply an increasing slow motion effect to the game by pushing right on the D-pad of controller 2.
Good call, Fluff. Give you more time to react in some situations. Gotta say, from the outside looking in, didn't get this vibe for the interior decoration of that tower in the distance as we were coming up on it from the outside, but that's fine. Most difficult platforming stretch right about here. I like to throw grenades. You'd probably get knocked back there. Just make sure you land back on that platform. Clear out as much of this as possible. And again, yeah, just you can time your grenade up a little bit better than I did right there to take out the enemy. Now we get one or two more long cut scenes as we come face to face. I think we know who this is going to be at this point. Almost missed my day with you. Remember when I thought that the perfect end to a lousy day would be the last kind of cliched line they throw at us? Step into the light. Gotta say, a thought I never had when playing Ninja Gaiden. This game has too many cutscenes. Scum in a business suit. Way to take the side of the little guy there, Hart. I like it. I also get tired of the whole trope of the bad guy being way too lax and confident in their abilities to kill us. Not a knock against this game specifically. You see it in so many games, but come on, we just battled through 11 stages. Don't you think you might take us a little bit more seriously? I guess if he's our clone, then he's feeling pretty confident in his ability to take us down, so gets a pass in that case. Like literally everyone and their grandmother knows that this is our clone about to step out of the shadows. You've got a lot of nerve, mister. Makes you wonder how much of this was just weird localization, translation, all that, since the Japanese version, Gun Sack, came out a good, I think, 6 or 7 months before this version. Here you go. Okay, yeah, well, we already saw him there. Yeah, it made sense, I think, from the first. I think we all knew where this was going. Just the divining face, just trying to wrap his head around it. Guy looks an awful lot like me, but why? Were you also a mercenary? Yeah, this, I mean, it's hard to, because it's been so long since I've been a child. It's hard to remember if my patience was wearing especially thin while sitting through this long of a cutscene. Again, depends how good it is, but just, I think even as a kid, I'd be like rolling my eyes at a lot of this dialogue. Yes, let's battle. Let's bring in Gary and teach us how to whip your butt. Maybe literally with our laser whip. I don't know. Obviously defer to Gary for the strategy here. Let's do it. All right, finally. Gary.
Boss beaters.
The sweet spot for this penultimate boss is kind of 30% from the left side of the screen like we show. And the key is to basically bait him into attacking you high. As soon as he gets that shot off, you want to duck. Just keep throwing those grenades, but as long as you stay up when he's about to attack and then duck, you'll avoid all of his shots. Stay in that spot, you'll take him down.
Way too easy, thank you. Think him being our clone, he would kind of figure that out, know that we might have tried something like that, but shame you won't be needing them anymore. I'm tired of this game. Wow. When the game says what we're thinking out loud. Don't see that a lot. That's a first. Good give credit where credit's due. Gary?
Boss beaters.
Right, the final boss of Vice Project Doom. The best strategy is to stay away from them. Use your grenades, toss them. The weak spot is the head. And yeah, jump between those beams that he fires out at you. If you find yourself between the boss's legs, note that he always kind of goes left to right, so just keep ducked and then go right and then left, transitioning. You'll avoid taking damage, but for the most part, you want to keep your distance. Watch out for those little beams that he fires out at you. Find that sweet spot, jump between them, throw those grenades at his head. You'll take him down, and congratulations, you have beaten Vice Project Doom.
Thank you very much, Gary. Yeah, it's my fault taking some damage here. You can easily get through this final boss battle without getting hit. He's doing his Richard Simmons-like stretches there to give a late 80s, early 90s reference. All right. I think that's it. Every dog has its day. It's just a lot of these aren't even relevant. We're literally just throwing away hackneyed cliche, just throwing them out there. Shamelessly, Aicom / American Sammy. I don't know, maybe they didn't do the localization, but yeah, he's so Bob Hope there. But there you go. Vice Project. I can never get the name of this game right. Even after that class, even after the no death run, which I especially owe to Gary today. Thank you so much, Gary, for those excellent boss beaters. Blaze with the items and weapons guide, Fluff, of course, with the background on the developer and publisher, and just more information. And yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm done with this game's weirdness. Please subscribe if you haven't. There you go, the end. Thank you. We do one of these classes every single week. We love to have you enrolled. Leave a like, really does help us out. Leave a comment. Have you played this game? Have you beaten this game? And yeah, have you noticed any other games which this game is ripping off? I mentioned probably half a dozen. There's probably 6 dozen more, so go ahead and leave a comment. But that's our time for this week. We'll see you next week for next week's class in the same spot right here on Video Games 101. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.